We got freedom to gain, we feed them the game. Turn on new Freedom XChange, we freeing your brain. They tryna shackle your mind, no half of us blind. Remember the past, but never go backwards in time. The ancestors lived through us, they help us build a model community. New Africa is soon to be. So tune in to Sister Marsha, Mujahideen, Man Bilal, to get your cultural enlightenment now.
Welcome back to another edition of New Freedom Exchange, your cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. I'm your co-host, Mujahideen, with my other co-host, Sister Marsha and Imam Bilal Hassan, and we are the New Freedom Exchange team. We're thankful to be back on at our scheduled time. Normally, our scheduled time is on Saturdays at 7 p.m. We've had a busy last few months, actually, and so we've been in and out, on and off. But we're happy to be here. We had some other challenges that came, but we said we have to keep continuing to push forward. So we're here with you all. We have our two special guests for the first part, and then we have some young adults who'll be joining us, inshallah, at the halfway of the hour. But we just like to welcome you all. For those of you who are here, let us know where you're watching from. You can put in the comments. Those who will see it now and those who will see it in the future, where you're listening from or watching from. Excuse our visual. Again, we had a little tech difficulty, but we're going to push forward, inshallah. So we're thankful for those of you who are joining us and who will join us. And today it was a special reflection of two pioneers in our community who are working diligently. They came in at a young age, and they're still working in their respective area, and they share the state of Mississippi. And so I'm going to bring on two guests, and I also get the honor and privilege to work with them as a part of the new board of directors of the Muslim Journal. But today we're going to talk about some of their community development work, as well as we might even take a step back and even unpack their experience in al-Islam as being a Muslim, inshallah. So with that, I'd like to bring on Dr. Rashad Ali and our dear sister, Sister Ayesha K. Mustafa, managing editor of the Muslim Journal. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Alhamdulillah. We thank you for joining us. Initially, we wanted to, one of our executive director, he wanted to share his experience that he enjoyed, I believe about a week or so ago, with you two down in Mississippi. And so he should be in and out. He had to do something else that came up last minute, so we won't necessarily get his insight as of yet. But as I mentioned, because you all are pioneers in our community, especially in the transition of the Nation of Islam to the world community of Islam in the West, and the different variations or iterations of our community development, we would like to take this opportunity to get to know more of your story and your journey in al-Islam in America, because we do have, on the second half, we have a group of young adults who are in their young teenage, or late teenage years, early 20s, who are also taking up the banner of al-Islam and leadership in America. So we can start with our dear sister, Sister Ayesha K. Mustafa. You've been on our show a few times, so our audience is not a stranger to you. But if you could just introduce yourself in the sense of, I guess, a recap of your journey to al-Islam and in Islam and al-Islam for the last, I guess, 40 plus years.
Well, praise be to Allah. I appreciate the opportunity to do that. And I think a lot that you have two Mississippians on at the same time. And, we can tell you some real tall tales from Mississippi. But amazingly, I think about it often. I accepted al-Islam at the age 22 years old, straight out of college. And growing up in Mississippi, there were no Muslims in sight. And I sit back sometime and think about how did I guess I should say, how did Islam find me, a kid in the back of Mississippi that had no idea about Allah or the Quran or Prophet Muhammad, and then at age 22 had a fortitude or the I don't know what to call it, the wherewithal to accept Al-Islam on my own, because I came from a staunch Christian family of 8 kids. And Dr. Ali will attest that in the South, as most African American families in the years gone by, there was a hierarchy. And if your mother and father weren't there, then the oldest of the kids stepped in and took charge, and you did whatever they said do, just like you would respond to your parents. So in my hierarchy, I was way down in the 8. I was actually the 7th child. It was only one younger than me. And none of them gave me permission to change my religion. You usually expected to ask somebody, could you do something, especially if you weren't in the top ranks. And at age 22, I decided that I wanted to become Muslim. And I could just hear somebody in the background saying, who told you you could change your religion? But here I am, from 1974 to 2024. This year being 50 years Muslim. And I'll say I never looked back. We had an interesting journey from Mississippi through all-white Ivy League school in Pennsylvania. Well, first through Mississippi, through Piney Woods boarding school, to all-white Ivy League school in Pennsylvania, back to the South in Atlanta. And when I got back, people were saying, let's go to the temple. And so the journey started there. I left Atlanta and moved to Chicago to work for the Nation of Islam, and stayed there 36 years. And I've been back in Mississippi 10 years. And my adult children and grandchildren are still in Chicago. Allah blessed me to work inside the ministry of Imam W.D. Muhammad. Had the opportunity to travel with him abroad and watch him interact with world leaders, as well as impart his sensitivity and sentiment for world events. And nowadays, the one that sticks out for me the most because of current events is his visit to Palestine and meeting with Yasser Arafat at the time. We visited the West Bank. We went throughout Palestine with the Palestinians. We didn't visit Jerusalem with the Israelis. We visited Palestine with the Palestinians. And we were there on Christmas Eve. When we got back to the States, Imam Muhammad had a press conference, and his remarks was, if I had been a younger man, if I were a younger man, I'd go back and fight on the side of Yasser Arafat. And of course, I never forgot that sentiment. As well as we have to remember, as African-American Muslims who came through the ranks of the quote-unquote Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad himself would not let anybody get near the Nation of Islam membership. People who converted to the Nation of Islam teachings under his leadership, nobody came inside to teach them anything. No Africans, no Christians, no immigrant Muslims, except one. And that was Dr. Jamil Diab, a Palestinian refugee that he brought in to teach Arabic to the Nation of Islam children. And among those children was W.D. Muhammad. And it's the Palestinian refugee, Dr. Jamil Diab, that Imam Muhammad gave credit to directing him towards the Quran. As young students in high school, Jamil Diab would take a liking to Wallace and direct him to the Quran to read certain things. And Imam Daniel Kareem and his wife, Gloria Kareem, were also in those classes, and Daniel Kareem can attest to this. So we also hold a special place for the Palestinian refugees because they gave us Dr. Jamil Diab as well. So I'll stop there and turn it over to Dr. Ali.
Thank you. Before you do that, I do want, well, I'll let Dr. Ali go, and then I want to double back with the social climate of, as you mentioned, growing up in Mississippi with African American, and its continues freedom struggle, and then we want to tie back in that point you just made about the Palestinian young refugees. So, Dr. Ali, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. First of all, let me say thank you and congratulations, Brother Mujahideen, Sister Marsha, and Brother Bilal for the format that you have and the work that you're doing. You know, I get excited and really excited to see the generation, I would say, following us, who've taken up the gauntlet and the mantle to propagate in the way that you are doing it. You're taking on the instruments of your generation, which is the internet, and you're doing some marvelous things. And so I'm elated to be part of what you're doing here. My story is much like Sister Ayesha. She said some things the other day that I did not know. And so I'm the last of 9 children, and so I didn't let her know that, but I'm the last of 9, and she's exactly right. None of my we came from a staunch Christian family, and there was an array of Christians in my family. Of course, my mother and father were, and then my sisters. Some of them were like, I guess you would say sanctified and Church of Christ, and that's a different type of Christianity. But again, I came up the last of those, and they, in some families they call it the baby, but in my world I was never a baby. They didn't treat me like that. So anyway, I came up on the hard side of the mountain, and I actually had a pretty decent journey. My introduction to Islam came in probably around 1974 in Boston, because when you're in the South and you have 9 children, many of us, my mother had a 7th grade education. My father had an 8th grade education. But I would say that 7th grade education, but a PhD in common sense. So, but either way, financially, many of us were supported and helped by family members. And I had an uncle that partook to me, and he became my favorite uncle, although much of his life was spent as a street guy, But I was introduced to Islam as a 15-year-old kid selling shoes in Boston, Massachusetts, on Mattapan and Blue Hill Avenue. I was a shoe salesman. I would see these Muslims, and they really, really just the sisters walking down the street, and the children, and the brothers dressed up in the bow ties. That was really fascinating to me. And I said to myself one day, I said, I don't know what I'm going to be in this world, but one thing that I really think I'm going to be is one of them. And so some years later, I met Minister Farrakhan at the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, in 1978, probably about 4 years later. And that's when I declared at the age of, I guess, about 19, I decided that I wanted to be a Muslim. And of course, that was what was happening at that time. He had left, and I had no knowledge of what was going on with the split in the community and any of that. But one thing he told me, I said I was going to leave the University of Mississippi, but he said to me, he said, brother, don't leave. You need to stay here and get this education, then you can help your people. And that's one thing I really was always, I gave some appreciation to the minister for encouraging me to stay and do that battle at the University of Mississippi. And at that time, we were only about 10 years removed from the first African-American ever entering the University of Mississippi, who was James Meredith. So that was about 10 years later. I'm sitting up in the University of Mississippi trying to get a degree, and many of the, much of the situation had not changed socially. There was a few changes, but not many. My journey through medical school and on to the United States Air Force and residencies, and then law school and UCLA to get a business degree. All of those things, allowed me to see and propagate Islam. I think it prepared me to set out on a journey. And I remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad saying once, we should have some of this earth to call our own. And when I heard that, I always believed that. And much of my life was spent near an all-black town in Mississippi. I don't know if it was the first black town, but it was certainly among the first, called Mount Bayou, Mississippi. And I grew up only like 8 miles from Mount Bayou, and it was all black. And I always believed that if we could build our own communities, and I never had a desire to chase anybody into any, white neighborhoods or any other kind of neighborhoods. I believe that we should build our own. So I was that would put me on the trajectory, I believe, when it came time to trying to establish a community called New Medinah. Allah blessed me to be in a situation where I became the helm of that, and brought the ideas and even the name, and I will share that with you as we go. I think that's enough right now, and I'll be available for the questions.
Yeah, so yeah, we definitely want to double back to that momentarily. But Sister Ayesha and Imam Dr. Rashad, you both mentioned the influence of your family growing up, and then I guess by association, the social climate, the political climate of our people. You guys touched on it a little bit, but what was it that experiencing that, and then also seeing Islam as how would you describe that? Was Islam a answer to that? Was Islam a protection from that? What was that connection between your family, the social environment, your community, and then Al-Islam being a decision or choice that you make to go to your better self or your next self?
Okay, I'll yield to Sister Ayesha if she wants it, or I can take it on.
But let me start, Doc, and you can clean up. Al-Islam was the answer to a multi-generational prayer, and it was more than a prayer, it was a plea. When we came into the Nation of Islam, we were introduced to Al-Islam as 3 things. Al-Islam is freedom, justice, and equality. And if you live through the Mississippi experience, that was religion. That was religious. That was prophetic. That was a prophetic response to a people that had been crying for hundreds of years. And when people say ground zero, we say Mississippi. This was ground zero, and sometimes it tries to go back to being ground zero. But all of the most trying and most difficult experiences of the African American, they are documented in Mississippi. When my brothers were kids when Emmett Till was killed. And Emmett Till's murder, the young 14-year-old Emmett Till, if there had not been a sense of fear in the community, Emmett Till's murder sent a shockwave of fear throughout the young African-American boys in Mississippi. But also Emmett Till's death, we say, was the death of innocence. No longer were we innocent to the conditions and the atrocities that happened in Mississippi. And Emmett Till's mother made it plain when she refused to close his casket, even though she had been threatened. When she took him from Mississippi back to Chicago to bury him, they threatened her not to open that casket because his body was so abused. And she did the opposite. She opened the casket, Jet magazine put his picture, his abused body laying in the casket on the front of the page, front page of Jet magazine. And in Chicago, people lined up around the street, around the neighborhood, waiting to go through the funeral home to see Emmett Till's body. And that kind of blew the lid off of Mississippi's horrendous treatment of African Americans, not only nationwide, but worldwide. But we also had other people who would deal. This was a tough environment. I hate to bring it up because I just despise him so much. But Netanyahu came to our house in Washington, D.C., and he keeps making a comment that he lives in a rough environment. He doesn't know what rough is. Rough for him is what he created. When you talk to African Americans in Mississippi, we grew up in a rough environment, and anybody that made it not only alive, but sound mind and body, only Allah was our protection. Because the white Caucasians that said they were the body of Christ, they were carrying out the mission of Christ, they used the Bible against us and reiterated that we were the cursed sons of Ham, and we were made by God to be the totals of hills of wood and the totals of water for other people. So they justified their white supremacy and their abuse and enslavement of blacks with a biblical reference. But out of Mississippi, you had some people who resisted, even in their genes resisted. You had people like Fannie Lou Hamer, who was beaten within an inch of her life because she wanted to sit as a Democratic representative of African Americans in Mississippi. When she went to vote, when she went to register for vote, she was put off of the sharecroppers farm where she lived with her children and her husband. But she was put out the house. The other ones didn't have anywhere to go, but she was put out the house because she went to vote. You had people like Medgar Evers, who was shot dead in his driveway, walking into his house almost midnight, coming home from work for the NAACP as a field representative. Medgar Evers is touted as one of the best organizers throughout this country when it came to civil rights movement. Northern leaders referred to Medgar Evers as one of the best organizers they had ever had in the civil rights movement. And of course, this was before we got to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And his leadership in terms of people still turning all of the violence, all of the resistance, all of the obstacles that were put in our way. Nothing stopped that train from moving. We had to have different tactics at different times. And of course, as would be, some leaders disagree with others in the tactics that were used. Some say, go back and listen to Nina Simone's song. Nina Simone said, "You're moving too slow." And she made reference to Mississippi. So it's a hard song, but I just tell you, go listen to the Nina Simone's song that she named GD Mississippi.
Well, Ayesha was appreciate that. I can say yes, Mississippi has had its dark days. They used to say there was the world and then there's Mississippi, unlike any place on the planet. But we're thankful. We prayed. We're thankful to Allah that today we can say that that is a lot different. It's a lot different, and because of the laws that are on the books now and the lawsuits and the court systems, much of that has changed. I think today you can see a new Mississippi, although there are some who wish that it could be. Donald Trump has emboldened so many of them to look like they've risen from the grave, that mentality. But we have more African-American elected officials probably than any state in the United States. We also have many law enforcement agents, highway patrolmen, people like that really represent a new face to this place. So, and I would say that yes, it has given us an opportunity to see that those struggles that the individuals faced and they put up was really real, and we're thankful. And I know that Allah has smiled on this state at this day and time, because we're seeing things here now that we've never seen before. Again, every state has got its ugly face now, but we are seeing some wonderful things that are happening in and around here now.
Let me just add, Brother Mujahideen, before you pass on, and acknowledge Dr. Ali's positive outlook on the state, because recently the Mississippi State Senate awarded Dr. Rashad Ali a proclamation. He named out, we call him Doc. He's a medical doctor, and he manages. I don't know if I said it right, Doc. You might have to clarify. 9 medical clinics throughout the state, and I think 7 of them have been awarded above par performances and helping the poor in the state. But he was given a proclamation by the state of Mississippi Senate, and is documented in the Muslim Journal on August 10th issue. We want everybody to get that August 10th issue to read about Dr. Rashad Ali being recognized by this state in his role as a physician, a medical doctor, and maintaining those. It's 9 clinics, right, Doc?
Yeah, we have 8, but what you're speaking in terms of those awards, and the awards came from Department of Health and Human Services, and those are national awards, and they give out 9 awards. They give out 9 awards annually, and we were able to get 8 out of those 9 awards, and 2 of those awards were national awards, which puts our clinics in the top 5% of all clinics in the United States from community health centers. So that was the work that they acknowledged. And not only did we do it in 2022, we got 7. In 2023, we got 8. And alhamdulillah, this year, 2024, we have received another 7 out of 9 of those awards. So, and 2 of those, again, 3 of those are National Achievement Awards, which again puts the services that we provide in the top 5% of all clinics in the country.
Wow, alhamdulillah. So we actually up on our time. We haven't even really touched the surface of what we wanted to cover tonight. But I would like you to particularly in the work that you all are doing in your professional lives, but also in our community legacy as Muslims in America, to give a word of advice or a word of encouragement or a word of invitation to the next generation, because they're coming up right behind you, literally on this show. Actually, Bilal was supposed to cover this one. I was going to do the second one, but it looks like I covered this one. Inshallah, Bilal will give you all the greens and cover as we transition to the next one. But I did want the young people to hear they are in the queue. I did want them to hear your invitation or advice or encouragement before we close out, inshallah, this segment.
Okay, I would just like to say to our young people, remember that there are no age brackets for you to wait on. The doc and I came in Al-Islam through the Nation of Islam at young ages, and it was nowhere where I thought that I was too young to take part in anything. If there was an opening and you thought you had something that can contribute to fulfilling that opening, you stepped into it. Nobody said you had to wait until you become a certain age. Nobody had said you had to wait till somebody passed. I remember our leader, Imam W.D. Muhammad, became leader of the entire Nation of Islam at age 44. And he was ratified by the entire leadership of the Nation of Islam at that time. Whatever happened after that ratification is another story. But they expected him to take that position at age 44 to be the leader of the entire Nation of Islam. If you prepare yourself, I just say put yourself in place, you know, be among the Muslims that you want to help, be among the community members that you want to help, and be ready. And when the opportunity comes, you step up and fulfill that opportunity. Sometimes conditions groom us or prepare us, just like it did for Malcolm. Malcolm was prepared by the conditions that he lived in. And when opportunities came, he was in place. When he went to prison, I don't know if he went into prison expecting that he would come out to be in the Nation of Islam under the leadership of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and then be his national spokesperson at an early age. Malcolm died before he changed it 40. Malcolm didn't make it out of the 30s. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't make it out of his 30s. So there's no waiting time for the youth to step up and to do what they see needs to be done. And at the same time, all the time, be preparing yourself. And you can't prepare yourself if you're not in the fray. Make sure you are in the middle of what's happening in your communities and that you're absorbing the conditions of your people and then preparing to meet those conditions. Because when someone falls or someone passes, and we see it more and more, is, you know, it's the rapid pace of losing that frontier of Muslims is increasing. So you all have to be prepared. The only other thing I would say is social media is great, but also think in concrete terms, think in brick and mortar. You can't live in a vacuum in social media. You need some institutions and some structures that are attached to the ground. I say social media is like building your house on the sandy beach. And when people like Elon Musk in charge of the beach, you don't know which way you're going to go. So think in concrete terms, to have some brick and mortar on the ground so that you can have some solid foundation under your feet. And I appreciate you all. I look forward to seeing all of you all. I do keep up with what's going on social media, and there's a lot of you all out there. There's a lot of talent out there, and I just wish you all the best.
Thank you. Doc?
Yes, well, you know, I just enjoyed listening to Sister Ayesha talk. I really do. She, in some ways, she sounds like my mother, you know, and she's got so much to share, I think that, you know, in terms of what I would like to share with the youth is, there are a number of programs that are going on right now that came out of Imam W.D. Muhammad's leadership that I would hope, inshallah, that some of the youngsters get behind and really, really bring into complete fruition. You know, and one of those is this Muslim Journal. We have to, and I spoke recently with Sister Ayesha about this. One is the Muslim Journal. The second one is a project that we're doing here in Mississippi called New Medinah. And these are physical manifestations of dreams. And these are very important elements in our community that must go on. And this is where I think that the importance of having the Muslim Journal and a New Medina is that somehow we have to capture and take charge and ownership into our history. We have to own it, and we have to our history and our culture. We have to take charge of that, and we have to have vehicles or instruments that we have to utilize in order to continue to manifest those things. And I see that the journal is the vehicle that we have to maintain and to help propagate, not only propagate obviously the religion, but we have to also think that our history and our culture, I'm talking about indigenous Muslims in the United States, whom many of our foreign brothers have really I don't know if they're ignoring it or neglecting to accept the fact that we were here and have been here all of these years, even when we go back to, Muslims that came, one from Senegal, right here in Natchez, Mississippi, and Abdul Rahman, and the other Muslims that have been here that left progeny. So I just want us to understand the importance that we do have things that can be worked on and can be discussed. And the sustainability of these projects is what's important. Along with the journal, we've developed a community here in Mississippi called New Medinah. And Imam Muhammad said it simply means new city. But along with that is more than that. It's new mentality. It's a new behavior, a new conduct, a new way to do business, a new way to look at us as indigenous Muslims in this country. It's very significant. So it exists, and it's not just a figment of your imagination now. You can walk out there, you can go to a place called New Medina, and you can stand on that land that belongs to Muslims wherever they are. If you say that you're a Muslim, 13 acres of that land belongs to you. So, and then you can see houses that we built from the ground up, mosques built from the ground up, community center ground up, and we're working on economic development. And we know that we don't have all of the things that some of the people that have the money have, but inshallah, in time, if we keep the faith, I believe that Allah will bless us with some things that are going to be absolutely outstanding and revolutionary in our lifetime. So we would invite you to stay tuned to the developments of some of the things that we would like to pass on. But I would also encourage whatever projects that are going on, physical projects that you see, if you see the building leaning, it's time to step in and say, let me help you fix this leaning building, wherever it is. And that's just, you know what I mean by that. But anyway, I just want us to be aware of the fact that sustainability is going to be an important issue. And that's what has to happen with the next generation.
Ameen, ameen, alhamdulillah. Thank you for those remarks and words of wisdom, and insight, and invitation, and encouragement. We didn't have too much time left to spare to really unpack some of the other things that we wanted to address. But I did want to get Imam Bilal in here to greet you all and close out this segment, and then we'll do a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the Next Generation show. Okay, that was too long of a pause, so he must still be in transit, inshallah. But
Assalamu
here you go.
alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for Sister Ayesha K, Mustafa, and Dr. Rashad Ali for the hospitality when we visited New Medina last weekend. It was definitely a joy to see. I definitely recommend everyone to try to make it down to New Medina to the retreat that they do every year, Memorial Day weekend, to the Economic Summit coming up, leaving out of DC with Sister Fitra and the Nation's Mosque. And also, inshallah, we look to hope to plan for having the HBCU MSA Coalition retreat actually at New Medina. So, inshallah, I do apologize. I'm actually at work right now, but I did want to come on and give salams. And from here at the Halal Fest here in Long Island, with a lot of Muslims here. And shout out to my man Sadiq, Water Ice, who's providing the water ice for the believers today, and the funnel cake. And we're here providing that service to the believers here in Nassau County, Long Island. So thank you all, Ayesha, Mustafa, Dr. Rashad Ali, for coming on tonight. Inshallah, we will bring you all back for part 2 to really dive into the New Medina project. Inshallah. Shukran. Inshallah. And we will be right back with another portion, our second portion, which will include the recap of the HBC MSA Coalition trip to the USCMO National Muslim Youth Conference in Chicago. Don't change that dial.
Thank you again, Sister Ayesha K and Dr. Ali. Inshallah, we'll talk to you all soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Legacy, legacy, brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, legacy, Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, legacy, our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, legacy, Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, legacy, visit MuslimJournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, text sponsor the 999. Legacy, legacy, 999. Legacy, legacy, MuslimJournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, legacy, Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, legacy, our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, legacy, Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, legacy, visit MuslimJournal.net online. Legacy, legacy, text sponsor the 999. Legacy, legacy, 999. Legacy, legacy, MuslimJournal.net online.
Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown, shade of brown. They say the first cutter be the one that sets the tone, to add pressure to a lesser known flesh and bone, to look different than the picture shown, and to be a rebel means you're not about to settle till you get your own. This one's for all my outside of the box thinkers, with bumblebee singers and paper cut fingers and scrapes on their kneecaps. I know the pain lingers. The healthy way to heal a broken wing is to give it love. Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown, shade of brown. Yeah, the thing about community is how proud it is. We understand what well balanced and what grounded is. And love is the hinge that heals and mends, conceals and blends, and keeps us all covered. That's grounded shit. We say it's all black when it's all love, and it's brown when it's all good. Groundages, we help heal the hurt. So put us on. So put us on. I said you gotta put us on. We got freedom to gain, we feed them the game. Turn on the Freedom XChange, we freeing your brain. They tryna shackle your mind, no half of us blind. Remember the past, but never go backwards in time. The ancestors lived through us, they help us build a model community. New Africa is soon to be. So tune in to Sister Marsha, Mujahideen, Man Bilal, to get your cultural enlightenment now.
And we're back to segment 2 of New Freedom XChange, your cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. Again, I'm your co-host, Mujahideen, my other colleagues, Sister Marsha and Imam Bilal Hassan. And we are on the second segment, which we're going to bring on our young students of the HBCU MSA. Today, it looks like we have Howard University MSA and Bowie State University to talk about the experience we just experienced out in Chicago for the first Muslim Youth Conference hosted by USCMO, and we were invited by the mosque here. So I'm going to bring them on at this time. I see Anis, I see Anissa, and Ramla. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
About to say, if y'all don't speak with Ramla at. Oh, there she go. My laptop's not working, so I can't do my visuals. So I'm going to be without face. So what's his name was on here also. So here, I guess he'll come back on shortly. So let's go around, introduce yourselves, what school you go to. You can say your year and your major. starting with Anna, since you're right up next to me.
Okay, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. My name is Enes Brim. I am a senior here at Howard University, chasing the pre-med major, inshallah. He, born and raised in the DMV by way of Morocco. That's all right.
Annie. Yep, that's good.
There we go.
Anissa, you're it.
I couldn't really hear, but I'll go next. Assalamu alaikum, y'all. My name is Anissa Lawrence. I am a junior honors psychology and criminology double major from Jersey, New Jersey, and I go to Howard University.
And Ramla.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Ramla Hamid. I'm a freshman. My major is nursing, and I go to Bowie State in Maryland, but I am originally from Florida.
All right, okay. And inshallah, anyone else come on there will introduce themselves, their major, and their school. So, just a brief recap, as we said in our introduction. Was that last week? My days are all over the place. Yeah. So last week we drove from, I picked up the students from Bowie, and then we drove to Howard, and we rode from Howard to Chicago, and we were part of the delegation of the Mosqueers. We did get to go to the Mosqueers Juma. Anybody like to speak about that?
Sure, I can start. Alhamdulillah, being over at Mosqueers, it was a really welcoming community over there. Very open to, receiving us. Sahir coming in. There we go. But yeah, it was a great environment to be able to see the different masajid in Chicago. I think that was the only one that we really got to check out. But the individuals that made up that community, mashallah, they opened up to us with open arms, and really inspired us, to be the representatives for the upcoming event. Alhamdulillah.
So Sahir, since you just coming in, you could just introduce yourself, your school, your year if you want, and your major. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
How you doing? My name is Sahir Muhammad from Philadelphia. Sorry, it's a little hectic. I just came from another event in Baltimore, but I wanted to join to really talk about my experience from the weekend. But yeah, I go to Howard University for political science, and I'm happy to be here.
All right, thank you. We were just talking about Friday, and our experience going to the Mosqueers for Juma, and then I think we registered, and then we did a Quran recitation in Nasheed. So we're just speaking about Friday right now, then we'll go into Saturday.
Got you. Hold on, I'm gonna sit right now. But no, Friday. Sorry, there you go. Sorry, my camera's a little cracked too. But Friday, it was a great experience. I love the camaraderie, the community. That's my first time going. It's my second time going to Chicago. Before the first time, I didn't really interact with many Muslims, but the Muslim community was very open arms. I learned a lot because I have a lot of, I guess, connection with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and W.D. Muhammad. And my mom was a Sister Claire Muhammad school, so we learned a lot about that information anyway. So it was kind of I guess, a culture shock, learning a lot, actually being in the area and meeting a lot of people who were connected with it. So it was really a great experience, and I loved everything about it. Once again, I'm sorry about the camera. So.
No, you're good. Let me introduce our co-host, Sister Marsha.
No, that's not how you bring me on. I don't even know why you tried it
Sorry,
like that.
sorry.
Okay? That was dry. That
Okay,
was dry. So we're
we
gonna
will do?
try again.
Let me do the introduction. Let me do it.
Go ahead.
Try it again, Mujahideen. Try it again.
I'll do it. Welcome back to another edition of New Freedom Exchange, your cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. I'm your co-host, Mujahideen, here with
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Marsha. Assalamualaikum, everyone. It's so good to be with you. Welcome to our guest. I came in the middle of the conversation, so I heard Brother Sahir, and I apologize, I can't even see the screen all that well, but I heard him talking about his experience being at the USCMO conference, and so I'm gonna just let y'all keep ripping, and then I'm gonna jump in when I feel it's necessary. But I was not gonna let him get by with that dry introduction because your girl don't deserve it.
I'm gonna do the drum roll. If you keep it up, I'm gonna do it. The queen has arrived. Now
But
to her daughter.
continue. I want to hear more about the experience. I wish I was able to be with you all. I actually was assigned to another conference because, in addition to being a part of HBCU MSA Coalition, I'm also a board member for MSA National. And so I was on assignment that same weekend, but I really did want to be with you all because I know that not only did you get a chance to go to USCMO, the USCMO conference, you all I got a chance to be together with another school. And then when you got there, there were some other schools, the other HBCUs too. So that's cool. And of course, y'all are Howard students. I'm a Bison. Y'all are my baby Bison. So there it is. Keep it moving.
Hey, you.
You
You
Told him to
know,
stop
know.
doing it.
you
No,
know.
no,
You
no, no, no.
know.
I told him to stop doing that. See, he's trying to start trouble. I told him to stop doing that because he not a bison. He bison adjacent, y'all. He bison
Yeah,
adjacent, and we gonna
yeah.
give him that. But I told him to stop with the age. You. Oh, y'all ain't even come in on me. That's terrible. What's going on?
I'm new here. I only been here
Oh,
for
my
3 weeks,
No.
so
bad. You know.
Okay. All right. See, my baby always got me. If y'all didn't know, Anissa's my oldest daughter, and so again, it's a pleasure to be with you all. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish the conversation, and I'll jump in where I can fit in.
Yes, we're just talking about Friday, visiting the mosque cares, and then registering, and then we did the prayer and then the Shia. So I think Anita, you were up, and then Ramla, if you want to give your reflections.
Yeah. So I think Friday was really nice. I think even like before Friday, just getting to like drive up with everyone and like getting to know everyone, like not just getting to know like the students from Bowie for the first time, but also like being able to be with Howard students and getting to know them in a different way as well. I think was a great experience. But as far as Friday, it was really nice to go to the masjid because I always like going places that kind of remind me of like, my masjid at home and stuff like that. The community was very, very, very welcoming. They even had us like share what we were looking forward to over the weekend and like kind of giving us that opportunity to, share where we were coming from and just, a little bit of that. And, we took pictures together. It was a really, really nice time. And I think that's kind of like the beautiful thing about our community. You always feel welcomed, whether you're at, one of the masjids in Newark or you're in Chicago. Like you can go around and always feel welcomed. And then once we, got to the hotel and kind of registered and kind of got to listen to some Quran recitation and the she's at the event. It was really nice. I didn't understand anything, but it was really nice being able to listen and just being able to be with everyone in a different environment. Because I think when we're always at our schools and stuff like that, we kind of don't realize that there's so much more out there for us to experience. So I think Friday was definitely like a great starter for the weekend.
That's beautiful. And so one thing that, and I want you to kind of keep going. So I don't know who didn't speak yet. I would like everyone to sort of jump in there and be able to share their experience. But one of the things that, before you all do that, and maybe you can add that into your commentary, the one thing that I was happy for you all to be a part of this experience is because a lot of times representation is not, you all are not represented in certain spaces. And not only is it African Americans that are not represented in these spaces or at these conferences, but also the HBCUs. And so that's one of the sort of my missions, is to have that representation in these spaces. Because a lot of times I'm in these spaces as a leader, or even representing you all. But it was nice that you all got to be there, right? They got to get to know the students from the HBCU, even if it was indirectly. And I'm hoping that there are more opportunities for you to do that. But is there anyone who didn't share? Because I want to hear about your experience, those who didn't share already. Go ahead, sis. Jump in there.
Bowie. Oh no, how y'all say it? Y'all say
Oh, Lord.
oh.
He keep trying. He keep trying. And let me tell y'all something. In the chat, they called him the GOAT. And right now, I'm about to take his title. I'm about to take his title because he keeps trying it.
I'll turn into
Go
a
ahead,
poodle.
sis.
So I'm just talking about on Friday right now, or the whole experience in general.
Yeah, just Friday. We
I think we'll just start with Friday.
So Friday was good. We left like you said, we went from Bowie to Howard. And Friday was really like chill. Like the ride down there, it was really nice getting to know everybody, especially for me because I'm a freshman. This is like my first experience ever, like in college, like like really like away from home. So it was nice to me to get to know more people and more friends as well, and like Muslim friends specifically. And like they really like brought me out of my shell a little bit because I'm kind of shy, so they brought me out of my shell, and I really like appreciated that. So I didn't feel like awkward or anything. And then when we eventually got to Chicago and we checked in and stuff, I feel like the Quran and the Nasheeds was a really good start, like a calm, like it wasn't it didn't calm us too much. It was like a nice, like a nice little start after that. And then afterwards we went skating, and I really liked that too because it kind of I don't know what the word is, but it made us feel like more together, if that makes sense. As if like, oh, we're here for like knowledge and stuff, and to be better as Muslims, but we can have fun at the same time. And yeah.
Absolutely. And so you had a bonding experience too. And that's part of what I was saying earlier, that I was glad that you all got to do that because sure, you went there for a leadership conference, and of course that was the main objective. But I don't think you all as MSAs did any interaction with each other before. So the fact that is now a thing as a result of this experience, I think is really, really cool. So go ahead, Mujahideen. Where else are we going in this conversation?
Rumla said, "Come out of her shell." Take two
Uh-oh.
on that one.
Uh-oh. Wait. So I did see some footage, guys, right? And so was Rimla the one in the trivia?
They lucky I'm not on my laptop. I got the footage. I have my laptop though.
I was like, okay, sis, yes, 114. She got it. Okay.
That was no. I'm sorry to cut you off. I was the one in the back. I was the one in the back behind her. I'm in the video too. I got that right.
Okay.
You heard her because she was in the front.
I was trying to keep it low key and stuff.
Okay.
Very
mindful, very thoughtful.
Not there.
Bowie this, Bowie that, Howard's over Bowie, and I just had to defend my university,
Well, sometimes you gotta do it, sis. But it's all HBCU love over here. It's all HBCU love over here. So now, okay, you guys don't know, right? So, you guys don't know, but hold on, I'm sorry, because I cannot really see. You guys don't know, but Anas is my official nephew, right? I call him nephew. And so did you share already, nephew?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. So let's move on to Saturday, right? So, because Saturday was like, we jumped into the conference. What was that like? What was that like being at the conference, being with other students across the country, I think it was also other organizations across the country, and being one of the very few HBCUs in the room? What was that like, and what did you do? What was the conference all about on that Saturday?
I can go first if that's okay.
Yeah, whoever. Go ahead, jump
Okay,
in.
I'm gonna just say a lot of time with conferences is a lot of they give, we take. Like they say something, we just hear, and then keep pushing, like yada yada yada. Like you do a different workshop. This one was a lot more dialogue, conversation, more hands-on. She could talk to me, I could talk to her, he could talk to him. Yeah, like a lot of that. So I like that because like that, I feel like conversation and dialogue is really what stimulates like engage like conversation and intellect and all the right parts of your brain. Like, because a lot of times like if you just talk and just listen, you definitely daydreaming like, oh, what I'm gonna eat later on tonight, or oh, I want to go here, or let's go to the city. Because we all like sitting there like, yo, when we like, we can go, I'm gonna go explore. But when you're like actually engaging and having conversation, you forget that there's other things to do. Like you're over here like, okay, like this is part of the experience, it's part of the trip. Like they're downtown and all that other stuff, but this is also part of the experience. Like this is the trip too. So it was a good it was a good like reminder that what we were there for, while also like increasing our knowledge, increasing the experience, increasing and then our networking too. So and a lot of times too, like you said, it was like the only HBCUs there too. So it's like it was really like nice getting our points across and speaking and having other people hear what we had to say. So I like that. We got to really make our mark this weekend.
Yeah, whoever's next, go ahead and jump in. I want to hear. Yeah.
So I agree with Sakir that one thing that I really took from the lectures and the people that were speaking is they included us in there. Like they included us in the actual like conference. It wasn't like they were just talking to us and then like expected us to retain the information just like that, because I feel like when people are just talking to you for hours and hours, it gets like boring at a time and you don't really grasp what they're trying to tell you. So the fact that they allowed us to like have like little mini activities or like little things to get us involved, like actually involved in the conference, helped me retain the information better and understand what the point of the like the specific talk was about. And yeah, that's all.
I can go next. As for me, the convention, I really like that because there's a lot of ways that you go about talking about leadership. And I feel like they encompassed a lot of topics that everybody knows about, but people don't really go into it. Like, I know one section was about like conflict resolution, how to deal with it, when, you're going back and forth with someone during a meeting. What do you do with that? There was another one that I really like talking about the examples of leadership within Islam and, looking through the Quran for examples of that. I thought it was really creative and, a whole bunch of workshopping that included us in that conversation of what leadership looks like to us, what leadership looks like to you, and, trying to mix our definitions and growing from it. I know personally, I took some notes and I felt like three quotes like really stuck out to me when I was over there. Uh, and if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna share. But the first one was the more that we're engaged in service and community, the more we're connected to Allah and becoming akhirah centric. The second one was the most beloved of you are those who service others, and the leader of their people is a servant, and that is when you lead by example. And doing so is what brings love and respect to the individual. So all of these quotes just really stuck out to me. When you're in the position of leadership, it doesn't require a title. It doesn't require a title. It really comes down to your intention. And when you're just putting yourself out there and trying to be a leader, there are so many blessings that come out of it. And being part of this convention just really reminded me of the blessing of being a leader and trying to encourage others to be leaders as well, and also being inspired by all the other organizations and representatives that they had as leaders as well. Thank you.
Yeah, that I think is so cool. Oh, we got some shots on the screen. I think that that piece about incorporating al-Islam into the way that we function, or the way that you all, particularly as young people, function, is unique, and it's cool in a sense, because a lot of times I would say the leadership training perhaps that you all get on campus doesn't necessarily incorporate the religion, right? And even the environment around you on the campus is not centered in al-Islam either. And so to be able to have the opportunity to be able to pull examples out of Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is unique, and that's really what we want for you all as young people. That's what we want for ourselves, right? We want to be able to fashion our lives in such a way where the things that we do are modeled off of the way of life that we have chosen for ourselves, and that there's not this dichotomous experience. So I think, as many of those opportunities that are afforded to you to be in those spaces where you're able to get examples of how to infuse it so that it's just one life, one experience, is, is golden. It's really, really golden. Anyone else want to share about Saturday? Anissa, you have something for Saturday?
Yes, ma'am. Can y'all hear me? Because my computer is lagging.
We can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess just to piggyback off of what everyone else has been saying, I really enjoyed how engaging Saturday was. It was a full day program, so you're kind of thinking like you're here from 9 o'clock in the morning to whatever time. So I think if we were just being like talked at, it would have been like a completely different experience. But that's not what we experienced. We got to engage in activities, whether it's like, talking around the table and then sharing, or we did one activity where me and Rumble had to go to the front of the room and present what we had talked about and stuff like that. So it was very, very engaging. And I think a lot of the discussion wasn't just what the older generation or the people who were presenting thought that we needed to hear. You know what I'm saying? It was actually applicable to our lives. And I think a lot of times you can go to conferences and it's just like, okay, this is what we think the young people need to hear, and it's not applicable. But for me, I would say that we didn't experience that, because we learned a lot about leadership and community service and just engaging with each other. Like, one of my favorite presentations was about like working with one another, the importance of understanding each other's like personalities, the importance of understanding like conflict styles and things like that. I am on eBoard this year, applicable to my life. I'm not sure if y'all can see me because I just see like circles on the screen, but I'm gonna keep talking.
We see you. We hear you clearly.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed Saturday because I feel like it gave me a lot of stuff that I can take back to Howard and really just work to not only make like the MSA better, but make Howard and the community better, and then like go back home and do my best to make my community better. Because at the end of the day, one thing that we talked about when we went to the masjid was like, we're getting this opportunity, and that's great, alhamdulillah, but it's our responsibility to go and actually use what we learned to better our communities. And I did write a quote down, but I have like 4 papers in front of me, so I don't know where it is. Oh no, I found it. It said, someone said there's a sense of responsibility that comes with blessings. So, we got this amazing blessing to go to Chicago. Like, not everyone is getting this opportunity. And it's our responsibility to take everything that we learned and go implement it in our communities. So I really, really enjoyed Saturday. I'm not one to sit down from 9 to 5. So the fact that, we got to actually do something during the time. And I even feel like got to learn more about like each other. We were having certain dialogues, and it was like, oh, like this is so interesting that you think this way, or just different things like that. And one thing that y'all all left out about Saturday is we also got to explore. I think that this experience was kind of like a twofold thing. Like, yes, we're getting this knowledge, but at the same time, we're getting the opportunity to explore like a new city. So we got to explore Chicago like together. It was really nice. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's probably like, the highlight of my semester so far, although it's only been a month. But it was nice just like being with everyone and continue building those connections, because we were talking about like that responsibility of going back in our communities and doing stuff. It's like, how can we do that if we don't have opportunities to get to know each other and build those friendships, and then go and be in our campuses and kind of facilitate that teamwork. So I think that was more of a fun part of Saturday, but I think also very important as well, because the more we get to know each other, the better off we are at serving our communities.
Absolutely. And she was not going to let y'all leave Chicago without getting y'all to do the thing that she loves, which is skating.
Bro,
So,
it's funny. I was gonna bring that up, bro.
uh-huh.
Anissa taught me how to skate backwards. Just want to say that I skate and I bought skates
Yes.
too. So like, I just bought skates 2 days ago. I was like, yo, this song kind of fire. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Uh-oh,
Like,
uh-oh. Yeah, the
so
girl loves skate. And then y'all actually got a chance to hang out with Jada Ahmed, the president of Muslim Culture Con, who also loves skating. So I was like, oh yeah, they definitely going skating whether they
no, it's
know it or
because
not.
I was at the skating rink, bro, and I see them two doing their thing. I was like, yo, I can do that too. Whole time I'm falling all over the place. I was like, that's why I bought skates. Cause I was like, yo, I'm telling you, they was in the middle for a main character, spotlight on them, doing their little skate thing. I was like, yo, I'm trying to do that too. So I bought skates.
Okay, all right. We got another skater in the making. We love, love, love to see it. Back to you, Mujahideen.
Yeah, I had to do a little something on the skating thing too.
Here we go. Here we go. Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
What you want to say?
No, go ahead, Anissa.
No,
I thought you.
one thing about I need to say something about Brother Mujahideen. It's like a running joke. Like he do everything. Like I seen him. I walked to the skating rink. He's skating backwards too. I said, yo, this man do everything. Like you don't. There's nothing that he don't do. Like
Wonk, wonk,
he
wonk,
do every
wonk.
side mission, every side hustle he do.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't take him nowhere, because he want to play all the games and try to beat everybody. He can't go. He can't go. Go ahead, Anissa. Do you want to say something else before we transition?
Okay, I didn't know if y'all heard me, but it was skating and the bean that we weren't leaving Chicago without doing.
Yes, and she had to
That's what
take y'all
that
to the bean. So I hope y'all enjoyed the bean. Go ahead, Mujahideen.
Yeah, we did the beam, we did O Block, we did a little street tour as well. But Ramla, did you speak about your experience on Saturday? Oh, she did. Okay.
Do you want me to say more?
No, I mean we're coming up on the hour. But if you guys want to, okay, we could talk about. I know Sunday we didn't get a really chance to go into the sessions because we had a 12+ hour ride, and so we did get to do group photo. We met the General, what's his name? Assembly General Jamal Osama.
Can I
And
can I say something about Sunday?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Sunday is like we didn't like you said we didn't really do much of the sessions. It was mostly the drive, but I think Sunday was like I guess that was the pivotal day where everyone got like I guess close. because when I tell you that 12-hour ride, 13, 14, how long, we were just talking like hot takes. So, brother Mujahideen dropping prompts off. We had brother Brim dropping his little prompts. We had another one named Abbas dropping his prompts. All just was just talking about life, and that's like one thing that was an underrated part of the experience. Like we came there for one goal, but came back with other goals. Like we came, like it's funny because we came there one person. I feel like I came there one person and left another person. You feel me? Like I left my old self in Chicago and came back a different person back to DC. So it was very underrated experience. Like getting to know yourself, like getting to know other people, but getting to know yourself through other people also.
I also want to add something on top of that. It's funny. Ramla doesn't want to bring it up, or is trying not to, but I'm gonna bring it up for sure. Alhamdulillah, Howard, we got to put on Bowie to playing spades, and we did forget to mention on Saturday we had a game night. But we got to teach them how to play spades. They got really into it. We may have started some beef within the Bowie MSA. We got some new partnerships. Shout out to LJ, shout out to Abbas, and then everybody else that came with us. But we had a great time, and they love space so much. We was planning on every stop on the way back from Sunday. So,
Yeah,
inshallah, we're gonna have something coming up where we get to go head to head between Howard and Bowie. Inshallah, we're gonna see what happens up to Madame President, and yeah.
I just want to say I really appreciate you guys for welcoming Bowie, and the game night. You guys are very very sweet, very polite. I think the game, it was a very good game. There was no conflict or anything, and I was very
It,
That was
it was all
this
love. It was all love.
It's
yeah,
funny.
this was
One thing.
quiet before the storm.
It's funny because one thing about Howard, because like I said, they've been to Howard for a minute. I've been here for like 3 weeks now. They go and play some spades. Like they love spades. I ain't played not one spades game in my entire life.
We
Bro,
gonna play
I
some
didn't play one spade.
spades.
I'm from Philly. We didn't play nobody play spades like that up in in Philly. Like I came down there, I was like, yo, y'all play spades? I was like, yo, this school is black. Like this is a black school, but apparently like everybody, like every single person at Howard plays spades. I was like, yo, are you serious? Where Uno at?
Listen, you go get this culture today. You hear?
Yeah, I'm so black now.
I'm so black. Yeah. So, also on Sunday was when we did our final pictures and farewells. They surprised me with this temp waterworks of a postcard for their appreciation, and y'all almost got me, but I did appreciate the reflections that you all shared, and the moments that we shared on this trip.
I said next time y'all gotta call me for the secret sauce so y'all can get one of them tears to drop. But I also just want to thank you all for being thoughtful and showing appreciation to Mujahideen for what he did for you all, getting you all out to Chicago and just being a part of the experience with you all. So thank you all for even thinking to do that for him, because he's the type of person that if he can do it for you, he's going to. And some people may consider it out of their way, but he doesn't. He considers it a service. So again, thank you all for thinking of him in that way and including him in your experience, right? Because sometimes, the driver is just the driver, and you don't necessarily incorporate the driver into your experience, but you all incorporated him, and I think that was pretty cool.
Trying to get the waterworks. But anyway, let's close out. We'll do a round reading, so each of you can share a word of encouragement, a word of invitation, or something to our listening audience before we close out. We'll start off with Sahir because he's about to roll out.
Oh,
Sahir,
you saw me walking out. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Zahia, you were supposed to put up
Okay,
the
one.
church finger. You were
I'm
supposed to
gonna
put
say
up
one thing
the
before I
church
leave.
finger.
I have to leave in a little bit, but one of my word of encouragement is like I think one thing try new things, learn, take lessons off experiences. Like that's one thing. Experience everything and take a lesson out of it. That's my thing. I do a lot of traveling. I do a lot of reminiscence. I do a lot of journaling. When you literally sit, you can do things, but then you can also I can't explain it. Reflect on everything you do. Okay, reflect on it. You're gonna make everything so much better.
Salute. Next up.
Salut, alaikum. Thank you guys.
Uh, Anas.
One word of encouragement, I would say, it's kind of close to what Sahir was saying, but don't be afraid to put yourself in new environments, in uncomfortable environments. Big shout out to Rumla, actually. Her being a freshman, she just was just like, okay, shoot, I guess we're gonna go, experience this. And there are always gonna be beautiful things happening on the opposite side of that experience. All you gotta do is say yes and walk through the door and then trust in Allah and see what's gonna happen. So definitely, don't be scared to say yes. Don't be scared to put yourself in rooms that you don't think that you might not belong there. And don't be afraid of leadership also. I can be the first one to say I really was scared when I was put in a position of leadership. But I can also say that I had an amazing experience and I was able to impact a lot of people in a hopefully positive way. And I made a lot of great memories and great connections. So definitely put yourselves out there. That's all.
Ramla, let's hear it.
So, some words of encouragement I would say, is like everyone else saying, like put yourself out there. They said this during the conference. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I want to take my own advice too because sometimes I really don't like to be out of my comfort zone. But this trip made me realize like sometimes you have to in order to expand yourself and like to open more opportunities for you in the future. So definitely put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Like it's okay to be afraid, but like do it scared, like they said. And also remember Allah in everything that you do because He's always there with you.
Me. And last but not least, our daughter, Madam President, Anissa Lawrence.
So my word of encouragement would really just be like to not allow fear to lead your life, like be open to all the experiences that come your way, like live open-mindedly, yes. Live with an open mind, there are so many things that can seem scary at first and then you experience them and you're like, wow, like Sahir was saying, like I came out of that like a different person. So really just take advantage of all those opportunities. Don't be afraid to network and get to know other people, like Rumble, that's my girl now. Like I'm so glad that she came. But there's just so much good that can come from just saying yes to an opportunity, yes. And just living life with an open mind. And I think also just living in the moment, like before we got on, I heard someone talking about, just like social media and stuff like that. Like that's great and all, but when you're living when you're living in the moment, that's when you're really experiencing life. And I think in this day and age, a lot of us don't get that opportunity because we're always on our phones, we're always on social media. And in that, I do need to take my own advice. But I think when you live in the moment and you just really appreciate the opportunities that Allah gives you, you'll be better off. So that's my words of encouragement.
Me, thank you for that. And before we let Marsha give us our charge when we close out, I just want to thank you all for joining us, and also our other travelers, which was Abbas from Bowie State, LJ from Bowie State, Jerry Atu from Bowie State, and Ola from Howard. She rode back with us. And I had awards for all of y'all. You all know that I was all taking notes, but so one of my awards was for Anas. He's our imam. He led us in our salats throughout the trip going there and coming back. Our muezzin was Abbas. Abbas was every moment he could. He was like, can we take a stop for prayer? He was very mindful and conscious of our duties to make the salat. Anissa is our Stay Focused award because she be like, they don't understand what time is. So like, she was always on it, making sure we stayed together and we was focused. Ramla is our Shaker. That sister be dropping the knowledge for real, for real. You know what I mean? She held it down. LJ, I'm giving LJ and Ola the Hayat Award. They're very spirited individuals, no matter what time of day or night it was. They all had the spirit. Sahir, they was calling him a free spirit. I'm gonna call him. He gets the Fitcher Award. He's always connected to nature, and he's very original. And who am I missing? Jeriatu. Jeriatu, she gets the Humility Award. She was very humble throughout the whole experience, and very uh, yeah, she was very humble. And it was another expression when I thought of her, when we had that dialogue in relation to courageous. She has a quiet courageousness about her from her story that she shared with us growing up with her family. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Your awards will not be in the mail because it's not official, but I just wanted to say it on this show. So we'll turn it over to Sister Marsha to close us out.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I am so happy that you all had a chance to be a part of this experience, and I'm also happy that you all got to bond with each other. I think that there are just those priceless moments that we have that you can't recreate, right? They are just unique in and of themselves. And that weekend for you all in Chicago was that, and the drive to Chicago and the drive from Chicago, it was that, right? And so that's not something that you can recreate. It's just unique. The other thing I wanted to, this is sort of like a reminder. So usually at the end, like I'm giving everybody a charge, right? I'm giving them something to do afterwards. But for this time around, I want to give you all a reminder that your experience at a HBCU is sometimes it's even hard for me to put into words because I'm a graduate of an HBCU, right? And in particular, Howard University. But just that HBCU experience in general is something indescribable, right? And on top of that, you all are Muslims on campus at this HBCU, which is this very niche uh, um, uniqueness. And I just want you to kind of be in the moment with that and know that you all were handpicked for this experience. One, to be Muslim, right? Because we get invited to Islam, but also being handpicked to be that on an HBCU campus and thrive. Because I may not be with you every day, I may not know the intricacies of each of your stories, but when I hear you talk about this experience, the time that I've gotten to spend with the Muslims on Howard's campus, you all are thriving, and you're thriving as Muslims at a HBCU in this very unique experience in this once of a lifetime type of opportunity. And I want you to, at some moment, sit back and think about that and think about those. Think about how unique that is, and think about how special you are, and think about the very impactful mark that you're going to make in your lives, but also in this world from all of the things that you have connected with thus far. And I, I'm happy that you get to have that as a part of your story, and that right now we see the support going through the bottom of the screen for those of you who are watching. I want to make sure that you support these young people and what they're doing. Um, they could be on these campuses doing so many different other things, but they've decided to maintain their Islam, and they decided to maintain their Islam in an environment that perhaps doesn't always reflect or is supportive or even conducive to them maintaining their Islam. And that's what we want. That's what we want for our young people. That's what we want for our children. That's what we want for our Muslim ummah. So You know, shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to those who went on the trip who aren't on the screen. You know, my hat definitely goes off to you, and my du'as are for you.
And also those who wanted to come but couldn't come, so we didn't get the transportation. So inshallah, next time there was about another 20 more people that also wanted to come, and so inshallah we will have that capacity when it comes around next time, inshallah. So until next time, we thank you all for joining New Freedom Exchange, your cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. Peace.
Shadia. This a gummy beat. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Hey. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Hey. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Hey. Miss Boss Lady get be nice. Hey. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. 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 Miss Boss Lady. Look through the balls, look at the flaws, dripping and salt. She making the prayers no matter the cost. No, she ain't putting it on. She repping the dean, know what I mean, so she ain't never been fall. She on the scene, getting that green, so she can never be bought. She getting that check and on to the next. She sit a lot above. She demand respect, gotta come correct. Sauced up, dripping like ragu. While she walking down the avenue. If you really wanna bag you, gotta go talk to a Abu. Ain't talking to Aladdin, I'm talking to Dad, and no, he ain't having. No pen sagging, no career having. Bumps and around playing Madden. She ain't playing no games, dealing with lames. Beautiful woman with brains. I call her Miss Boss Lady with the keyma, cause I don't know her name. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady, Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady can be nice. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady can be nice.
Been a boss, I don't gotta floss. Staying humble cause I was lost. Now I'm rocking my keyma. Getting all of them dinar. On my deen and I go hard. Alhamdulillah, gotta thank God. Elevating and I can't stop. Don't waste my time when you getting blocked. Blast up, I put you on the spot. I be making moves and you talk a lot. Following procedure. Example for me, Khadija. I'm tryna own, not leasing. Stay on my grind, straight beastin'. Black excellence, stay queenin'. I gotta do it. Putting Zawa in albums, I thought you knew it. I'm about my business, I keep it fluent. I slay so effortless, ain't no congruent. Purifying my heart, cause I got affluence.
Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady, Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady can be nice. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady, Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady can be nice. Miss Boss Lady. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady. Miss Boss Lady with the keyma. Miss Boss Lady. Miss Boss Lady. Miss Boss Lady.
Legacy, legacy. Brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, legacy. Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, legacy. Our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, legacy. Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, legacy. Visit MuslimJournal.net online. Legacy, legacy. Tech sponsor the 999. Legacy, legacy. 999. Legacy, legacy. MuslimJournal.net online. Legacy, legacy. Brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, legacy. Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, legacy. Our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, legacy. Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, legacy. Visit MuslimJournal.net online. Legacy, legacy. Tech sponsor the 999. Legacy, legacy. 999. Legacy, legacy. MuslimJournal.net online.